Hi guys, welcome. And who dat? I'm Joe. Let's talk about the new players added to the Saints roster this week. The Saints have signed 2 more rookie undrafted free agents, and we've also released 2 veterans. So let's talk about those moves. First of all, the undrafted free agents the Saints have signed so far. Did a video on them a couple of days ago, the top 11. We've added 2 more. Wide receiver Malik Flowers and defensive tackle Jerron Cage. Jerron Cage comes out of Ohio State. He's 6 foot 2 inches, 307 pounds. He was expected to be a priority undrafted rookie free agent. The Saints pick him up. He's a little undersized, and he doesn't have a lot of starts in college. He was a primary backup his whole time at Ohio State. Doesn't have a lot of stats to go on, but comes from a big program and played some football even though he didn't start. So we're going to give him a chance. Puts another body in the middle of the defensive line. We also signed wide receiver Malik Flowers. He's out of Montana, and he set the record for most kickoff return touchdowns in a career on the FCS level. That 7 touchdown total ties him with Rashid Shaheed, who's now with the Saints. So the Saints like to get the FCS leader in kickoff returns for touchdowns. It would actually be a record in the FBS as well. So Malik Flowers comes to us. Now, in order to make room, I assume, for these 2 players, we've released 2 veterans. Quarterback Jake Luton has been waived, along with halfback Derek Gore. These 2 players are no longer with us. We'll see if we keep them on the practice squad. Let's pull up the offense. That's our new look boys now. No more Jake Luton. No more Derek Gore. And we've added Malik Flowers to the list of wide receivers. I think Rashid Shaheed should remain our kickoff and punt returner. I think getting the ball in his hands as many times as possible is a good thing. We've got Malik Flowers. We'll see what happens. Last year, we did not see Rashid Shaheed in a single preseason game. And I believe that's because we already knew what we had and we didn't want anybody to think about taking him because we put him on the practice squad. What a risky move, actually. If somebody else would have just snagged him off our practice squad, put him on their active roster, he wouldn't be on our team anymore. So do we do the same thing with Flowers? Or do we let Flowers showcase what he has in preseason? Because if that's the case, and chances are we'll have to keep, if he produces, we'll have to keep Flowers on the active roster. It's a nice dilemma to have. That's our offense. Let's pull up the defense. No players removed from the roster. We have added Jerron Cage. So basically, Cage is going to be battling with Prince Emili here and probably Malcolm Roach for one of those spots at defensive tackle. Last year, we only carried 3 for the majority of the season. At one point, we had 4, but we have a lot of options with our ends kicking inside. So do we keep 4 this year or do we just keep 3? We'll see. I think our final roster will be 4. And I think Malcolm Roach is going to have that 4th spot. That's the way it's looking for me right now. Those are your defensive players. If anything else happens this week, I'll put another video out and I'll adjust the roster accordingly. But for right now, the Saints are right there at the 90-player threshold. This year for the Saints, we and every other team in the league, there will be 90 players on the roster until after, I think, the third preseason game. Then everyone cuts from 90 to 53. There was a gradual cut in previous years. That's not going to be the case anymore. So when everyone cuts down to 53 men, every team is going to have 40 players that they just cut. So the 53-man roster, when it is first set, will not stay that way for sure. I'm certain the Saints have their eye on a couple of players that are going to get cut at that time. So the 53-man roster, when it is first announced, won't be the official thing. I'll probably give it a couple of days and then show you, how we're looking. But leading up until then, we'll have a lot of more off-season moves, I'm sure. A lot more players cut. And then we'll get into that beautiful training camp and preseason. And I'll be with you every step of the way. So subscribe to Rosenfield 10. And I'll talk to you guys later.